Konnichiwa. Today we'll be learning about informal speech in Japanese. We'll start with an overview of informal speech and get familiar with its key element, the short forms. We'll then take a look at some tips that will help you speak more like a native speaker. At the end of the video, we'll have some quizzes for you to test your knowledge. Let's get started with a quick overview of informal speech. Informal speech, also known as casual speech, is used among friends, children, family members, and in informal and relaxed settings. Sentences in informal speech are typically shorter and simpler compared to formal speech. Using informal speech indicates a sign of intimacy. On the other hand, formal speech is used to demonstrate respect and politeness when communicating with elders, strangers, and in formal settings such as workplace. For example, I use formal speech when speaking to my friends I made as an adult if they are older than me. Using formal speech indicates maintaining an appropriate distance. Next, let's get familiar with the short forms. We'll cover affirmative present form and negative present form. Let's see the short forms in the affirmative present form for verbs, e-adjectives, na-adjectives, and nouns. Here are some long-form examples to compare with. 食べます to eat. かわいいです is cute. 静かです is quiet. 先生です is a teacher. Now let's look at the short forms. The short form of the verb 食べます is 食べる. Notice that the short form is the dictionary form of the verb. For e-adjectives, we only need to remove this at the end to get the short form. So the short form of かわいいです is かわいい. For na-adjectives, we replace this with da to form the short form. So the short form of 静かです is 静かだ. Same for nouns. We replace this with da to create the short form. So the short form of 先生です is 先生だ. Next, let's explore the short forms in the negative present form. Here are some long form examples to compare with. 食べません not eat. 可愛くないです is not cute. 静かじゃないです is not quiet. 先生じゃないです is not a teacher. Now let's look at the short forms. The short form of the verb 食べません is 食べない, which is simply its night form. If you are not familiar with night forms, please watch the night form video in the description. For e-adjectives, we only need to remove this at the end to get the short form. So the short form of 可愛くないです is 可愛くない. For na-adjectives, we simply remove this at the end. So the short form of 静かじゃないです is 静かじゃない. And also for nouns, we simply remove the this at the end to get the short form. So the short form of 先生じゃないです is 先生じゃない. Next, here's the list of tips for informal speech using short forms. 1. Do not end questions with か. 2. Use casual yes and no. 3. Drop the da ending in spoken language. 4. Some particles are often dropped. Now let's see more details for each tip. First, let's talk about the tip of not ending questions with か. In informal speech using the short form, it's best to avoid using か at the end of a question. This is because using か in informal speech can come across as impolite or confrontational. For example, instead of saying 元気か for how are you, we simply say 元気 with a rising intonation. 元気? Next, let's see the use of casual yes and no. The formal yes is はい and the casual yes is うん. The formal no is いいえ and the casual no is うん or we sometimes say や. For example, if someone asks you, "Are you busy?" and your answer is, "Yes, I'm busy," your casual response would be, 忙しい. If your answer is, "No, I'm not busy," the casual response would be, 忙しくない. The third tip is to drop the da ending in spoken language. We learned that the short form of na adjectives and nouns can be formed by replacing this with da. However, in the spoken language, we usually drop the da ending after na adjectives and nouns. For example, when someone asks you, "How are you?" and you want to say, "I'm good," instead of saying 元気だ, we simply say 元気 or 元気だよ. Notice that we keep だ when it's followed by よ or ね. Please note that ending a sentence with だ is more commonly used when talking to oneself or in written languages such as poems, lyrics, articles, essays, and journals. Lastly, in informal speech, particles can often be dropped when the meaning is clear from the context, especially the o particle. For example, "I'm going to play games today" is 今日ゲームをする. But in this example, the o particle can be dropped, and we can say 今日ゲームする to sound more natural. However, if you are taking a Japanese class at school, please make sure to include particles if the assignments or tests require students to include them. Now let's try some quizzes. Can you say, "What do you do today" in informal speech? 今日何する?今日何する? Can you say, "I'm going to study at my friend's house" in informal speech? 友達の家で勉強する。友達の家で勉強する。Can you say, "Do you like Japanese anime" in informal speech? 日本のアニメ好き?日本のアニメ好き? Can you say, "Yes, I love it. Do you have any recommendations" in informal speech? 大好き。おすすめある?大好き。おすすめある? Today we learned informal speech in Japanese. Thank you for watching. ありがとうございます。